Turning now to the fallout from the death of jailed Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny. Global leaders are united in their outrage and condemnation today. G7 foreign ministers, including Canada's Mélanie, Joly, met on the sidelines of the Munich Security Conference in Germany today. They observed a minute's silence at the start in honor of Navalny, and they called on the Kremlin to provide further clarification of the circumstances surrounding his death. Navalny's mother today went looking for her own answers from the Arctic penal colony where he died. A family spokesperson says officials told her they would be keeping his body for now because further forensics tests are needed, but they also provided a preliminary cause for why he died at the age of just 47. Sudden death syndrome, a general term for various medical issues that cause fatal cardiac arrest. Navalny's family and others say he was murdered. Across Russia, makeshift memorials honoring Navalny have popped up in more than 30 cities. People came by to leave flowers and messages and to express their own anger over Navalny's death. Police moved in at many of the sites and made arrests. More than 340 nationwide, according to a human rights organization that monitors political repression in Russia. And it suggests that figure is likely an underestimate. Journalist Trent Murray is at the Munich Security Conference in Germany, where Navalny's death continues to cast long shadows over the discussions there. Trent, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky was among the speakers today. He had a lot to say about Russia and Vladimir Putin, I understand.
Yeah, he certainly did. He really had President Putin and the Kremlin in the crosshairs with some of his rhetoric, very strong. In fact, he said that Vladimir Putin killed Alexei Navalny to send a message to those world leaders that were gathering here at Munich, referencing the timing of all of this. And for President Zelensky, he says there is an inextricable link between what is happening in his country and the death of Alexei Navalny in Russia. He says President Putin is a dictator that has revealed he will just do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And he said dictators don't go on vacation, as he said it. And for him, this was a speech not just to talk about the situation in Russia and the perceived danger, as he puts it, by the actions of the government there, but also the wider question of this war. I think for President Zelensky, he is aware that there is some fatigue setting in, if you will, amongst some of those allies supporting Ukraine, namely the United States, where we know that funding is being held up for the war effort, given the political machinations of Capitol Hill. So I think he really wanted to send a message at this conference that the war in Ukraine is one that affects many people. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
Among us, there is no one for whom the ongoing war in Europe does not pose a threat. This war defines more than just the place of Ukraine or entire Europe in the world. This is Russia's war against any rules at all. But how long? Will the world let Russia be like this?
And we know, of course, that that message is one that he hopes that many other countries will listen to. We are also hearing from various leaders around putting pen to paper to try and continue to support Ukraine in its war effort. In fact, just before coming to this conference, President Zelensky was in Berlin and Paris, where he signed 2 separate defence pacts with the German and the French governments, defence pacts that will last for 10 years to try and help Ukraine in its war effort.
And Trent, we're hearing others at this conference having their say as well. Can you walk us through some of the other reaction that you're hearing there?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Alexei Navalny was a figure that was very well known to many political leaders in Europe. He frequented many cities on the continent during his time as an opposition activist. And in fact, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz had quite a bit to say, because for him this is quite personal. It's worth remembering that when Alexei Navalny was poisoned by that Soviet-era nerve agent back in 2020, he was actually evacuated to Berlin to get medical treatment at the Charité hospital. He then subsequently left and went back to Russia. Chancellor Scholz says he remembers that departure, and in fact he told him that it would be very dangerous to leave Germany, but nevertheless he did. We also heard from the German Defence Minister Boris Pistorius. Now, similar to Zelensky, he made some interesting comments to our colleagues at CNN, where he said that this was a direct message to leaders gathering here in Munich. Let's have a listen to what the minister had to say.
Putin made completely clear yesterday once more that he is willing and able to provoke us. He is willing and able to do everything to get us challenged, and we have to accept that challenge, and we do it.
So you think that the death of Alexei Navalny is a direct provocation of Western nations?
At least the message is certainly came out certainly on purpose.
And it's worth remembering in all of this, really in a tragic twist of fate, I suppose you could say, the wife of Alexei Navalny, Yulia Navalny, was actually at this conference and has given a speech. Now, she was due to speak just as this news was breaking through. Somehow she found the strength to still front that audience. She said it's what her husband would have wanted. The European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen subsequently had a meeting with her. She hugged her and said Europe is bowing down its head to her and her family at this very tragic time.
Journalist Trent Murray in Munich, Germany.